A sports show that's more than just sports. Welcome to The Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go, Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, man. How you feeling over there, buddy?
I'm feeling real good over here,
good?
with the exception of one minor detail that we will get to momentarily.
Okay.
But I will tell you,
It's a beautiful day.
it is, Braylon.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. I do enjoy the crispness in the air just slightly.
I understand what you're saying, and that's what we were talking about. You and I are very similar in that. I don't like it when it's 89 and muggy and humid.
No.
And that heat came too fast 2 weeks ago. This is how I like it. It's a nice, smooth, easy, like you said, crisp transition into spring, summer. Right now, it's about 70, 78 degrees outside, 77. It's perfect.
That's all you can ask for. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon
Maz.
to you, my friend.
Hey, fellas. Great to be here with you guys. It is gorgeous out. Put you in a good mood.
Forgot to say something.
What do you got?
Happy 24th anniversary,
Thank
my
you.
man.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Love you, Kath.
Happy anniversary
To you,
I love it.
man.
I love
Kathy
it.
Mazawey's
And
put up
happy-
with you for 24 plus years.
About 30 years all combined, but yeah, 24 years.
That's
So
like
we have-
200 in dog years.
It
right?
is.
We have her to blame for Maz coming
With the migraines?
to Michigan, right? I mean,
That's it.
That's it.
It
I mean, he
is.
followed the girl.
I've been here 29 and almost a half years.
He followed the girl.
And then
Yes,
told us
sir.
that beautiful story about the first time he set foot inside the Michigan tunnel.
First
That's part of
place
that
I
trip, too.
visited.
There you go.
First place I
Had to
visited.
see the big house. What are you guys doing tonight, Maz?
We'll do a little Mr. Paul's Chop House.
God bless
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Paul's Chop
Little
House.
Mr. Paul's.
Gonna
East
get a little
side.
prime
Keep it on
rib.
the east side.
Gonna get a little prime rib and some tableside Caesar.
For sure. For sure on the Caesar. Not sure on the meat yet.
Oh, there
Okay.
you go. What do you order there then?
Well, whatever. A different steak.
Oh.
Prime rib, maybe Chateaubriand for two.
Oh, excuse the hell out of me.
Who is you?
Excuse, who is this guy?
Who are you?
You putting on
Hey.
a suit tonight?
You know, no, I'm not.
Okay.
You know damn well I would just
Still
be
nice.
happy going to the Travis Coffee Shop on 9 Mile and Mac in St. Clair Shores.
They do have good burgers.
The best.
I think so.
When
They
you
are.
guys mention these places, you take me back. So I went to Martin Luther King, but I did transfer. And when I transferred, I went to Harper Woods, Bishop Gallagher. And all these spots that you guys go to, 9 Mile and Mac, all
Oh,
these
yeah.
areas, it's right there.
That's
so
there,
for
baby.
Coach Sahady, rest in peace, Coach Sahady passed away, really taught me how to play football, taught me everything about the game, both sides of the ball. But I used to be the guy just run errands for him. Because my class schedule finished early, I used to go run all little pizza spots over there and Italian restaurants. Some of them I can't remember.
You know,
right down the street from St. John's.
I'm his son is my good friend, Paul Sahady.
Paul Sahady, yeah.
He wants to come in and say hi to you. He's like, you think Braylon will remember me? I'm like,
Hell
oh,
yeah, I know Paul Sahady. Paul was a cop.
Yeah,
So-
he's still a Detroit police officer.
Coach Sahady had two sons. He had Anthony
Yeah.
Sahady, who was a
Yeah.
teacher. He taught at J-Zoo, which I
Look
actually
at
went to
you.
school, 6 Mile, Illinois. And then Paul Sahady was a cop, and he also coached on the coaching staff.
Yep,
So
he's
it's been a
still-
minute since I've seen Paul.
He's still down there by the
Does
Fisher
he still
building.
have the cop chin?
Yeah, of course he does. Yeah.
Paul has what you call like the
What's a cop chin, Bray?
it's just very, very like chiseled and square.
Yeah.
And it's like he just looks like they don't take no stuff.
No.
Like, if he pull up, you like, oh no, I can't play with this guy.
You know
Yeah,
what Paul
here's my
loves, right? He
registration.
loves playing the horses, man. Just
Yeah,
like
he
me.
does. Yeah,
Just
he
like
does.
me.
That's what you guys
Taking
have
me
in
back to
common.
my
Playing
east
the
side-
ponies.
My east side roots.
I wanted to hit you with this too because I'm going to the Tigers game on Thursday.
Okay.
I'm still not unclear whether you're going to come or not, but that's okay.
We'll figure it out because of the golf outing.
Yeah, we got the golf outing
Yeah.
Thursday in Frankenmuth. It's a lot going on
If I can
that
get
day.
there, I'll
but
go.
I've got 2 tickets, and they were emailed to me.
Oh,
I got to
my
tell you,
God. I hate that
Not to
process.
be a total snob, okay? Not to be a total snob, but I don't go to a lot of games where I don't use my, you get a pass.
Yeah.
You get a, we're in the media, you get a media, you walk in, no big deal, right? You don't, whatever. So I don't really use the ticketing process a ton.
Right.
It hasn't really affected me a ton.
It is.
I hate not having a hard copy ticket. Whether it's one you can print out,
Yeah.
whether it's one that is nice and, you get the ticket.
Yep.
This email app
It's the worst.
MLB Ballpark app. Get this emailed. Sign up. This ticket's here for you. I don't like it at all.
It's
Am I
annoying.
a dinosaur when it comes to this stuff?
No, you're not. Last year, I went to a couple Tigers games, and then also we went to the Guns N' Roses concert that you had the pleasure of accompanying me to. I hate that process because if you have a Ticketmaster account, which most people do, you have a Ticketmaster account, you got to download the MLB Ballpark app separate, and then you have to have a separate Ticketmaster account for the MLB Ballpark app, which is a separate account from the Detroit Lions, whatever their Ticketmaster account is. Got to get the tickets through there. I hate the email process.
It's a disaster.
I hate bringing it into my Quay or putting it into where my tickets are
please.
somewhere on my iPhone, and I got to figure out what the hell I did with the tickets. And then I hate when they double scan, because that's happened to me on multiple occasions where they send you all the tickets. So I give you an example.
Yeah, right.
For the concert, they double scanned me for the concert, and I had to argue with them that no, we don't have too many people. It's not overpopulated. Here's my ticket scan. You did this, and it also happened to me at a Lions game, which was a hassle as well. It's a hassle of a process. It has to be an easier way, Maz.
Come on, man.
What do you mean?
I
Come
thought you
on,
would
man.
agree with us on
no.
this.
This time, this is where we separate. Okay, I got the Ballpark app.
Yep.
I got my Major League Baseball TV and radio app. I'm set. I get the tickets. If let's say Drew,
How do you get the tickets?
Drew wants to send me his tickets,
Yep.
it goes right into my app. All he does is hit my email on his app. Bam, it's in my thing. I take them. I put them in my virtual wallet.
Yep.
On here, I open my wallet. Boom, 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 boom. If I have to send 2 tickets to my buddy, hey, you want to go to the game tonight? All right, I got 4. I'll send you 2 right now. The only downside is I got to talk him into the whole, do you have the Ballpark app?
That's
If you do.
There you go.
But I know what I'm doing. I'm a veteran that going to
Right.
games.
It shouldn't be that hard. Like I put it to you this way: there should be boom. If I'm coming to a game, somebody gives me tickets. I'm saying I'm going to the game. My name should be in the system. When I show up to the park, it should be right there. Will call. I should get my tickets, and it should be an easy process.
But you don't want to wait in line.
Or if
Will
you're gonna
call,
send
do
it to me, I don't need the Ballpark app then. They should go straight to my email.
And Braylon's right, too. You got to get an app for everything.
Exactly.
You need an app for the MLB. You need an app for the Lions. You need an app for this, an app for that. Put it to the wallet.
Hey,
Whatever happened to FedEx?
Let me show you my apps for a minute. You ready? These are my apps.
Why
Let's
do
see
you
if you
guys-
can see. Look, that's 1 page.
That's
2
such a
pages,
hassle.
3.
How do you know which page your apps are on?
Why-
I know what everything is. I know what everything is. I have a ticket folder. In there, I've got my StubHub. I've got my what do you call it when you go Ticketmaster?
People don't need that many apps like that. The MLB Ballpark app, I'm going to use that app twice a year. I'm going to literally use
I
that
live
app.
on it.
I'm going to use that app twice a year.
And I don't want
so now
that
I gotta
on my
download
phone.
that. Then I got to download the Tigers.
Yes.
The Detroit Lions app is well. I got to do all these things. I got a couple apps on my phone. Man, everybody's using the same apps. I'm using Instagram. I'm using Twitter. I'm using that's about it.
That's all you're doing on,
That's all
on
you're really
the
doing.
daily.
You check your emails, your texts.
It's just so annoying to me that, I'm just so used to having tickets. Like Michigan
And maybe a
still
bed after,
sends
too.
tickets out. And I appreciate that. University of Michigan, you could still get a nice hard copy ticket. Like I have on my mirror in my in my room.
Of course you do.
You got your Ohio State ticket.
The Michigan-Ohio
Yeah.
State ticket that I have placed in the corner from this past year. One of the greatest sporting events I have been to, a top 10 sporting event that I've been to in this country in my lifetime, in the last 43 years.
Don't get me wrong, bro. I loved getting a ticket. I have hundreds of tickets at home.
Same.
But I'm just, it's over. It sucks, but it's over. It's done.
I understand it's over. I guess I just don't understand why it needs to be over.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it needs to be over. That's the problem that I struggle with because nothing seems to make sense anymore.
You know who's on your side? To scalpers, because they put scalpers out of business.
Without
The
question.
only scalpers you get now are on the ticket sites.
Yeah.
And
That's
And that's really the only reason to do this, right?
Yeah.
Is to get the little guy out of there.
That's it.
Because then you're just making more money for the bigger guy.
They finally figured it out.
Because you figure, I mean,
Yeah, I
could
get
char-
that. Yeah, I get that, and I don't. I'm not one of those guys is acting like a dinosaur or saying I really need the nostalgic value of having a hard copy ticket. Just make it easier. Like hey, if I'm coming to the game, you know what? Hey, said individual wants to send me tickets to go to a concert, a Pie Knob, whatever. Pie Knob's coming back. Want to send me a ticket? Send me a ticket. Ticket hits my account, boom, should show them. I shouldn't have to download something separate to be able to accept the tickets that I'm being sent. That's where I'm saying the issue is. It shouldn't be a this process to this process to get to this process. There should be this to that. That's the problem I have.
And Mikey G on YouTube says, Maz, I still got old school Michigan ticks. I'm being held hostage by Ward Manuel. Hey, man, it's easy. It's easy. It's a lot easier. You don't got to meet someone in front of the ballpark to give them their tickets anymore. Hey, I'll meet you at 6 o'clock to hand you your tickets. I'm just going to email them over to you.
I'm agreeing with you, but here's the thing, and I'm only saying this. I agree with you, but there's an extra step. Now, I don't want to sound lazy, but there's an extra step. Like, why is there an extra step? Why do you send
Nobody wants to do the extra step.
Like, once you send the tickets should be validated. They should be good. I should be able to just go to the ballpark, scan that ticket that came to my email. But instead, and once you send me the tickets, now I got to download an app to be able to officially accept the tickets, then put them in my wallet. Those are two steps I don't need.
But if you have the app,
I do have the app.
Then when they email them to you, it should be automatically into your system.
No, I got that, but everybody that is going through this process, they're not going to be using it.
Correct. No, you're right about that.
So like me, now that I'm at Woodward Sports, you know what I'm saying, because I always like the Tigers. I try to get out there 2-3 times a year. I'm probably going to go to more games now. I'll probably go upwards of 7, 8, maybe 10 games.
Well, you can sit anywhere you want.
That's not everybody. But that's not everybody. The average person is not going to 8, 7 games. They're going to 1.
Senior citizens,
so I mean, I got to download an app, and then I got to download another app just for one game.
Just ridiculous.
Just for one concert. Too much.
I agree with you, Bray. No doubt about it. Hey, we're going to get into some sports talk. It is tied up at 2 games apiece. The Boston Celtics and your Miami
Series
Heat.
is over.
Has there been any good games?
It's been an incredible series. One of the most unique series I think we've seen.
I hate it.
In the history of the Eastern Conference Finals. Going to ask you about that. And also, there were a couple of people in the crowd that caught my eye last night. I want to ask you what that means as well. It is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. But first, there is a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
That's right, folks. And there's 26 locations, one right down the street here on Woodward. Join the Pepper Club, Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5 on some unlimited tanning specials. So get down there. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters. Check them out at chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, tomorrow we're going to be live at Big Boy in Brighton. That's right. It's going to be on West Grand River Road in Brighton. Make sure you get down there and come on out and hang with us. You can have a Strawberry Fest with us. That's right. They brought back some of the classic breakfast items. You know Ryan's going to be all over the strawberry French toast, the hotcakes, and the waffles.
All over that
Me
cabbage
and
soup.
Braylon, we're going to be on the strawberry shakes that we had the last time we were there. If you're not feeling breakfast, try the new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, the crispy chicken wrap. How about the strawberry salad? How about some dessert, too?
You can
Very
give them a
delicious strawberry pie. How about that? $1.99 with any purchase of $7.99 or more at your local Big Boy participating location.
I can't wait, man. I am
Can't
going to destroy.
wait.
So, and it's crazy because I was excited when we first announced that we were going to be on location in Brighton. One, is down the street from my house, but two, man, Big Boy, I feel like we were on location with them in October, and I miss it. I'm like, it's about time for some Big Boy. I am going to put in work. I think I'm gonna get there about 11:30, so I get my food chance to digest before 2 o'clock.
Last time we were there, we had Gus Johnson on the phone with us.
We did have Gus.
Guys, we're going to be talking to Matt Charboneau, Detroit News, Michigan State football and basketball beat reporter. We'll do that coming up in this next segment. The athletic director, the head football coach, the head basketball coach at Michigan State at the Detroit Economic Club yesterday. And some interesting things were said. And
changes are coming.
Yeah, they are, to the Big Ten. We'll get into that with Matt
excited
Charboneau
about that.
coming up momentarily. But I want to get to this Boston Celtics Miami Heat
the worst
game first. This has been one of the most unique series we've seen. The Celtics have won 13 of the 16 quarters they've played, but the series is tied at 2. Well, aside game 2 was a blowout, but it was like a 25-point lead for the Heat that the Celtics roared back, got it to within 1 before the Heat pulled away.
Yeah.
In each game, there's been a team with over a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
And it's usually happened around that second quarter. The second quarter has been that quarter and where they've got off at. I'm just not a Miami Heat fan. I feel like they're one of those teams where
they're boring.
Every time I'm watching the Miami Heat, or I'm thinking about watching the Miami Heat, or I have to watch a game that the Miami Heat are going to be in, I forget who's on the team. I'm like, oh yeah, I know they got Jimmy Butler. Does D Wade still play for them? I mean, hell, Udonis Haslem retired and came back. To this day, I don't understand why Udonis Haslem came back, because he doesn't play. Like, I don't understand that. But you're trying to figure out who's playing on that team, and then they're so inconsistent during the season. They're a good team because in season is different, as you know. Things change in the playoffs. Some of the teams that you play, you'll be able to beat with consistency. They have a lot of bodies, play a lot of good defense, and not everybody always is on. Playoffs, they're not a team that can beat Boston Celtics in 7. I think Boston will win this in 6. I think Boston will win the next 2. If Jimmy Butler doesn't play, the Heat have no chance.
Yeah.
Like one moment Tyler Hero will score 25. The next minute you'll forget Tyler Hero is on the team. Duncan Robinson is a $90 million Gatorade server.
Yeah.
Like, where's Duncan Robinson at? Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's another guy. I've never been a Kyle Lowry fan, even though he was a better general on the court. Just never been a fan of Kyle Lowry. Last night, the starters for the Miami Heat combined to score 18 points.
There was 26-3.
I
never saw a score like
that. I never have either.
In 4 quarters of an NBA playoff game, you mean to tell me your starters combined for 18 points total? Victor Oladipo, who was the 7th man on the bench, scored 24.
Oladipo!
It's something about them I don't like. It's something about them I don't get. I just hope that Jason Tatum can take this next step. We keep talking about him taking a step, and he
finish him off.
He is a superstar, but he's inconsistent. He has a good game 1, bad game 2. Good game 3, bad game 4. Or do that in reverse. I need him not to have a bounce-back game. I need him to have a follow-up game in game 5 tomorrow.
Hey, when Boston was winning in the third quarter, I looked at the Heat. They had 34 points in the third quarter. I texted you guys. I'm like, what's worse, this effort or when the Suns
in 7.
Yeah, and then I thought about the Suns in game 7 at home didn't even show up.
Yeah.
But both of those games could go down as 2 of the worst efforts by one team that I've ever seen.
Not to mention, Ryan, I'll get you in on this, not to mention, the Suns were up 2-0. They were up 2-0. They were the best team in basketball all year long in terms of the record. They were up 2-0, and they even got another chance to close out. When game 7, they couldn't do it. The Suns by far.
Let me ask you guys about...
Wait a minute, look at the other team that won it all. I mean, the team that led start to finish in hockey. The Florida Panthers. Oh, yeah. Another team that crapped the bed.
President's Trophy winners.
They got swept.
They're playing the back-to-back Stanley Cup winner, though.
I'd have to go back to look at the President's Trophy winner. It always seems like the President's Trophy winner never wins the Stanley Cup.
I think the Lightning did it a couple of years ago.
But they're as impressive. They're trying to do something the Red Wings dynasty never did, and that's win 3 straight Stanley Cup championships.
They're going to do it.
I mean, who was the last team to do that? The Oilers?
I think so.
Yeah, Edmonton Oilers in the 80s.
Maybe the Penguins? I have to think about that.
The Penguins, I don't think ever won 3 in a row.
I know the Islanders won 4 in a row.
Yeah. But I'd have to look at that. Guys, last night, one of the more impressive things that I really liked, and I don't know if I'm reading too much into this or not, but I really liked seeing Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes, Dwayne Casey, all these guys at the TD Garden watching this game. I just, the camaraderie of it and the experience of it, to me, I really got something out of that. And I think for a young team that's growing, to hear the roar of the crowd, to see what it's like when you have a full house in a playoff game, in a meaningful playoff game. I guess they're all meaningful if it's a playoff game. But I just that speaks to the growth of this young organization, and I think this only benefits them and adds to a little bit of add some fuel to your off-season workouts. Add some fuel to everything that you're trying to do at LCA.
What I would say to that is, if this game would have been played in Miami, I would have just looked at that, and I would have looked at it for what it was. These are some guys that happened to be in the Eastern Conference Final in the NBA, but they were partying in Miami and said, oh, well, since we're down here, let's go check out Celtics-Miami game. Since we're in Miami, since we're partying, since we're going to live, since we're going to turn up. It's Boston. It's not a lot to do in Boston. I mean, some good restaurants.
Go to Cheers.
It's great seafood. Yeah, you can go see Sam Malone.
Go
over
see the
at
Sox.
Cheers. You can do that, but that's not what Four Brothers are going to do. Four Brothers ain't going to Boston just to go kick it.
And Isaiah Livers
and
there
that's
as
why I'm
well.
about to say, you got Isaiah Livers. That is amazing to see. That means, one, the Pistons are putting players together that want to be together, that like each other, that have a sense of commonality. I like it, man. It says that, hey, this is what I want to feel. I want to remember this feeling, but I want to have on a tank top and jersey. I want to be playing. I want to be playing in this environment. When you get in that environment, when you see what it's like, you don't ever want to not be in it again. And although they're not playing in it, you still can feel what players are doing. You still feel the intensity change. Because to be in a playoff atmosphere versus a regular season atmosphere is very different. Like the games in any sport, they're fun. They're great. But it's a different level. You guys have been to playoff games and noticed that intensity change. When I was with the NFL, I was happy being in the NFL. I went to Cleveland Browns, and it was fun. It was great. And, then you make the Pro Bowl, and then you have the sense of a winning season is different. But when I got to New York and we played in the playoffs, and you just feel that energy. First playoff game I played in was in Cincinnati and in San Diego, and then the Colts AFC is different. So to see them guys sitting down and taking that in, something that they want to train for it. Now you do an extra rep, you know what I'm saying, when you're in the gym. Now you don't shoot 200 threes a day. Now you're shooting 275 or 300 because you want to get into that moment.
I think the world of what they're trying to do there. I'm a huge fan of the Pistons. I hope they're all able to take that next step because
together
because we have seen what we think, for so many teams. The Red Wings, they're going to take the next step. They don't do it. The Tigers, they're going to take the next step. They don't do it. The Lions, they're going to take the next step. We hope they do it. And the same with the Pistons. I mean, we'll see what happens.
And, Matt, the great thing about that, too, is he wasn't seen in that photo. Dwayne Casey was there as well, which tells you Dwayne Casey orchestrated this thing, which tells you his players didn't blow him off and say, no, it's off season. I'm in Costa Rica. I'm in Paris. I'm in London. I'm in Miami. I'm in Vegas. They say, all right, cool, Coach, let's go. We'll go with you. Coach set that up. Will also let you know is Dwayne Casey's going to be the coach of the future. We kept asking that question last year.
So. I hope he
Dwayne Casey's going to be the coach of the future, and he wants to show these guys how to win. He's familiar with being in the playoff atmosphere this time with the Raptors. So that was good to see that he made the initiation, and they said, cool, Coach, we'll go. And there they were.
I'll tell you, man, and there's rumors out there going to the draft. They're picking fifth, obviously. But the team ahead of them, the Sacramento Kings, who snuck into the top four, they are currently shopping that pick. And we said it on draft night. I mean, we had our Woodward Pistons team here, and they did a great job on that show. And we're all talking about it. The Kings are going to go and king that draft pick. Yeah. They don't want that draft pick. They want to win now. They want to make the playoffs now. You bring up the Pistons. Would you move up one spot?
I don't even know if the Kings would be a franchise anymore.
And then,
take both. Take the 4 and the 5.
And that's something we certainly can talk about in Grant, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I do want to change it up. Next segment, though, we're going to be joined by Matt Charboneau, Detroit News, Michigan State football and basketball reporter at the DEC yesterday, the Detroit Economic Club. Michigan State's athletic director, head football coach, and head basketball coach all on hand talking to the crowd. And I love these things, and where the crowd can kind of ask questions and you get a little something out of it. Where is Michigan State's football program right now with NIL and with the transfer portal? Where is the Big Ten realignment headed? We'll talk to Matt Charboneau. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Centron.
Summer of Centron is almost here. And now at select locations, select Kroger locations, that is, Centron Energy drinks are 2 for $4. Perfect time to get out there, get some of this energy drink. I'm talking the cranberry is my favorite, but the classic and the sugar-free classic aren't bad as well. Partners with the Detroit Pistons, partners with the Detroit Red Wings, but you know what? They want to be here for the moments. They want to be a part of your lives, so allow them in the door. Drink it, love it with Cintron.
At Wingsnob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wingsnob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wingsnob. We just have better wings.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. Thanks so much for being along with us, making Woodward Sports your choice for sports talk in and around the city of Detroit. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button for us. It helps YouTube get our content out to more people. Over 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 31,000 followers on Twitter, and if you are watching on Twitter and Facebook, we have ended those feeds and ask you to come exclusively over to YouTube right now. Guys, yesterday, Alan Haller, Mel Tucker, and Tom Izzo spoke to the Detroit Economic Club. Matt Charboneau, the Michigan State beat reporter for football and basketball of the Detroit News, covered that event as well. Matt joins us now live. How you doing, Matt?
Fabulous. How are you guys doing?
Having trouble hearing you. I don't know if there's a mute button involved.
There's a mutiny.
There we go. Try it now.
Hey, Matt.
Am I here now?
Oh, there you go.
Yes, we got you. Look at that.
Atta man.
Matt, thanks so much for the time, my friend. Been a while.
You got it. Anytime, man.
I think first and foremost, you know, we had talked earlier in the week about potential Big Ten realignment. Alan Haller made no secret about that. Changes are coming. What did you make of that comment yesterday?
Well, I just appreciated that for once one of these folks actually says something of substance. I say something because there wasn't exactly a bunch of details. But a lot of times you hear, oh, you know, we're working on it, we're talking. And, you know, it's one of those things you kind of know is coming, especially when you see the Pac-12 immediately make a change last week when the announcement came about from the Division I Council about whether you needed to have divisions or not. And we know the ACC has been pushing for it. And most of these Power 5 conferences have wanted something like this. So it's not a real surprise. But to get someone to say, yes, changes are coming and you're going to see it soon, that's at least refreshing. So what it's going to be, we can sit here and speculate all day. I think our best guess is probably going to be there's going to be no divisions. But, you know, we can speculate with the best of them, but it is at least revealing to know that the Big Ten is moving towards some sort of shift in football at this point.
You know, it's a great point, Matt, and I always wondered, why are there divisions in any conference, really? I mean, I guess, you know, you can go about it picking the top 2 teams to just play in any Big Ten championship game or conference championship game. It doesn't have to be, you know, straight divisions. I mean, you look at the Big Ten East, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan. I mean, that's a murderer's row.
Yeah, and it's interesting that was really, you think about basketball, they allow basketball conferences to determine their champion however they want. I mean, obviously the tournaments are lucrative, so that's why they do it. But, yeah, why they declared you had to have divisions if you had 12 or more teams, I mean, who knows? I guess it keeps teams like the Northwesterns and Iowas of the world that, let's be honest, if you go to no divisions in the Big Ten, the chances of teams like that making a championship game diminish greatly. So I'm sure teams like that, schools like that, probably don't love this. But as you mentioned, the teams in the East, I mean, that's rough every year when you think of those teams you got to beat, and then what are your crossover games if you're playing Wisconsin, which Michigan seems to do quite often. that's even harder. So yeah, it is kind of odd that that's been the thing. I know we've had 2 different incarnations of divisions in the Big Ten. It's funny when you go back to the original lead. What was it, Leaders and Legends? I think those are probably those are a little more balanced than what we have now.
Right.
But look, when you got 14 teams, there's always going to be scheduling imbalance, whether you have divisions or not. So at this point, it seems to make more sense to go without divisions because there's going to be grumbles one way or the other. You got to protect rivalries, so it's never going to be truly balanced. Because let's be honest, you're not playing 13 games. So yeah, I mean, I think this is something all the conferences wanted, so it's probably good to see it at this point.
Yeah, I think the conference games came about when it was Florida versus Michigan trying to get to that national championship that time when they were 0-6 and then started going to conference championship games from there. But, Matt, let me ask you a question. You see that Michigan is trying to catch on in the NIL. They're still way behind the likes of Alabama, Texas A&M, USC, and those guys. I know Michigan State's right around there with Michigan. What is Mel Tucker and Michigan State doing on the NIL side of things to kind of, try to use that to help them bring in players and, move ahead in terms of the Big Ten and the Big Ten East?
Yeah, well, it's certainly not at the level of, say, the Texas A&Ms of the world and places like that have created these, collectives or whatever. But there are some pretty deep-pocketed boosters at Michigan State that are willing to kind of jump in and help. The problem right now is there's no guideline from one team to the next, from one state to the next, from one conference to the next. So it feels a little bit like nobody really knows what the guidelines are because there aren't any, but everyone's kind of assuming there's going to be. At some point, it's this odd world right now that we're kind of in this in-between until someone realizes, okay, we got to make these rules. Michigan State's doing what they can. They've got a portal there where players can go to and businesses and companies that want to reach out to them can kind of contact them through that. The ins and outs of every day, it's hard to say exactly what's going on. Yeah. But I think as we've seen from Mel Tucker, he's very open to using whatever is available, whether that's the portal, whether that's the new NIL rules, whatever it's going to take to get guys on campus, he's willing to explore that. So, we'll see where it goes. It just feels like an odd time where everyone's just doing what they want. And then at some point, we'll get some rules and maybe everyone will be on the same page. We'll see. I wonder if Jimbo Fisher or Nick Saban thinks we should get to that point soon. We'll see.
No, I actually agree with you. I actually give Michigan State and Notre Dame some credit in this moment. I think schools like Notre Dame, Michigan State, Michigan, they try to do everything the right way because, like you said, they will enforce this at some point. I don't know if it's 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 8 years from now, but there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some enforcements, and you're going to be looking at schools like Michigan State, Notre Dame, and Michigan that did it the right way, and, hats off to them. Meanwhile, you'll be looking at Texas A&M, Alabama, and some of those schools, and you start looking at things like they really have blood on their hands when they really start enforcing some things. So I like how those 3 teams are doing it.
It's one of those things where I go back to a few years back when the FBI was starting that whole investigation into basketball, and there were some rules, and I talked at media day with a bunch of basketball coaches, and I asked John Beilein, about what they need to do to clean things up, and he said the problem is we don't need any more rules. We have rules. It's whether you've decided to follow the rule or the spirit of the rule, or whether you've decided to try and find your way around the rule. And that's what a lot of teams we see. That's why I think people like Jimbo Fisher, I don't know the details, but he can sit out there and say, we haven't broken any rules. Okay, technically he probably hasn't. But is he playing by the same set of rules as teams in another conference or another state? Probably not at this point. That's why I think we need to get to a point where you have uniform rules across all conferences, all divisions, so everyone's kind of on the same page.
Hey, Matt, I know Mel Tucker was asked about the Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban feud yesterday. Did he have anything to say about that publicly? And if not, have you heard any rumblings of how he feels about it privately?
He did not offer anything up publicly. He dodged it pretty well after when we asked him again. As you know, Mel's a Nick Saban guy, but he and Jimbo were, and we're all on the same staff at LSU for a year with Nick Saban. So, when you know all these guys and you don't necessarily want to look like you're taking sides, this is one of these times Mel was taking the easy path out and saying, I don't think I'm going to get in the middle of that one. So it'll be interesting.
Good for him.
You got him in an honest moment. What do you thought?
Matt Charboneau, Detroit News, joins us. Matt, I wanted to ask you about, you said maybe we could all get back on a level playing field. Maybe we'll all play by the rules. Have they ever? No, they've never played by the rules anyway. What the hell's the difference? Now they're just giving money in front of you instead of giving money behind you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's that, like John Beilein said that time. Do you want to follow the rules or do you not? And you're right. there's going to be at some point some new guidelines for everybody, and there's going to be somebody who's going to find a way around that, or bend it just the right way, or say it a different way that says, oh, wait, what are you talking about? We're following it perfectly. So in one sense, you're right. Yes, it feels like there's always going to be some sort of, behind-the-scenes stuff. But I just think right now it is so wide open and just no guidelines at all that it feels like nobody knows what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. I mean, the other thing I know Tom Izzo gets a lot of grief being an old school guy, but he said this to us a million times, and he said it again yesterday at that event. He's really concerned about the players, the kids involved, and how this all affects them. As he said, look, the universities and coaches will be around. How is this all affecting these players and these guys and their development, not just as players, but in life? So, my concern is with that all works out for these kids playing the sport. So I don't know where it's going, but it just feels kind of like the Wild West at this point.
No doubt about it. Hey, Matt, can we get one more segment out of you with a 30-second break?
Sure. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, sit tight, Matt. We'll get back with him in just 1 minute. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They keep you safe, give you peace of mind, whether you're at home or on the road. They're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Right now, let them know Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back with Matt Charboneau. Stay right there.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Right back here on Woodward Sports Network with our good friend Matt Charboneau, Detroit News, Michigan State beat writer, football, basketball. Matt, it's so interesting that you talk about Tom Izzo and what he said about the kids, because I think that's the biggest issue right now is what does this mean for the kids? Especially in football. Mel Tucker might have to recruit a guy every year in his own program, recruit him longer while he has him than what he did before he had him.
Yeah, that is the odd thing, and that's another thing Tom talked about the other day is you're spending as much time. Say you go to the transfer portal and pick up. Hey, I need a center. Everyone's wanting this offseason to get a center. Well, what are you telling the guy that's been in your program for 2 years that you've been telling if you keep working hard and progressing, you're going to get your shot? Well, maybe not this year because I brought in another guy, right? Or what about the freshman you just signed 2 months ago? What is that saying to that player? So you're constantly recruiting everybody, not just new recruits, but guys on your roster. When you think about a football roster of 85 scholarship guys, that's a lot of work to do. We've seen it already with the start of the transfer portal, guys going and how quick they can go. And they don't even – that's the other thing they're looking for more guidelines on of when you can go in, when you can come out, when you have to declare by, all these things, because roster management is becoming really difficult. As we see, Michigan State basketball's got 10 scholarship players for next year, and one they're planning on redshirting. That's 9 guys. That's you never heard of that before, but you get to the point where you use all your scholarships and 3 of the guys aren't happy because they're not playing, and you brought a guy in from the portal. It's just a whole different world right now with this, and we're seeing teams continue to adapt each year, and you're going to see a lot more of these teams not using all their scholarships. Whether that'll be the same case in football, we'll see. But the roster management is a real issue for these coaches and these staffs right now. And a lot of that's because of the portal. The downside of the portal is look how many guys go in and then never find a spot. I'm all for guys being able to go, but are guys always making the right decision? That's tougher to decide.
case in point, a guy like Ermanni Bates, right? I mean, here's a guy that Tom Izzo recruited for an awful long time, thought he was coming to Michigan State, last minute goes to Memphis, then plays 1 year, then hits the portal.
Did he play?
Who's doing that kid a service right now? I mean, and conversely, question number 2 about Ermanni Bates, is there any chance whatsoever that he winds up at Michigan State this time around?
No. I guess I'll never 100% say no. But if that happened, man, I'd be as shocked as anybody. I'd put that at 99.9%. Ermanni Bates will not be at Michigan State. So, you know, who's that's the problem. You never know who's talking to these kids, what advice they're taking, who they're listening to. I mean, you could go on and on, not just Ermanni Bates. At Michigan State, people are sitting here wondering what in the world is Max Christie still doing in the NBA draft? You know, and for a lot of us, it might not make sense, but maybe for a kid who knows, hey, I'm going to get drafted and I just want to play professional basketball, it makes perfect sense. So it's tough to say who's telling Ermanni Bates exactly what to do. Whether we all agree whether he's making the right choices or not is a whole other story. But I think that's just the tough thing. And I don't think that's changed all that much with players and who they're listening to, whether they've got good, solid people giving them advice or not. Some people don't. It's just the way it is. But for Ermanni, that was a tough spot last year. He's still really young, too, so we'll see. Hopefully he lands it. If it's going to be Louisville, whatever. Hopefully he gets it straightened out and plays well this year because the guy's ridiculously talented. So I think for his sake, I hope it all starts to come together for him.
Hey, Matt, Braylon over here. Let me switch gears and get back to football. You know, that's what I care about. Yeah, Ermanni Bates, I love that, and NILs, all that, but I love football. Mel Tucker's first year, he beats Michigan. He goes, I think he beats Northwestern in a shortened year. Next year, he comes back, he wins 11 games, beat Michigan again. What is the next step for Michigan State and Mel Tucker? Like, what is the step in the 2022 season? Like, where is Michigan State trying to be, and what does Mel Tucker need to do this year to take that next step in East Lansing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the logical next step is to say win the division and make the Big Ten championship game. Now, that's easy to say that. Then the thing is you got to look at the roster, see what they lost. How much did Kenneth Walker really make up for maybe some issues on that offense sometimes when the offensive line struggled? I mean, he's a guy that could make up for some mistakes there. So that's when you sit there and wonder, the guys they brought in, is they going to be able to fill that hole, whether it's Jarek Broussard, the kid from Colorado, Jalen Berger from Wisconsin. You know, they feel like they've got the skilled players at receiver, Jaden Reed, guys like that, Trey Mosley, Keon Coleman. Peyton Thorne had a good year. But to me, it all comes back to up front. If they're solid up front, they're going to be in position to win most weeks. So your next step at that point is win a division and get to the Big Ten championship. Now, is it realistic? We'll see. The defense, I don't think, can get a whole lot worse than it was last year. Let's be honest, you were last in the nation in pass defense. So there's, you know, they brought in some guys again, too. They're strong up front. So I think that's got to be the expectation, to compete for the division and win it. Now, that's, you know, let's say you win 10 games again and you lose to Ohio State to not make it or something like that. Does that make it a bad year? No, but at least you're in that spot to compete for it. And I think that's where they need to be. You can't have any more of these 6-7 win seasons and now feel like, well, we're just rebuilding. I think he's got to the point where you need to compete each year for that division. And if you're doing that, you're going to put yourself in position enough times to win some and maybe get to a playoff here and there. But I think that's the next clear step for Mel Tucker. Whether it happens this year or a couple years down the road, I think that's the direction they got to be headed.
Hey, Matt, does Mel have a poster up in the locker room yet that says we're a 9-point underdog at Ann Arbor coming up in October? Does he have that up yet?
I don't know if that's up yet, but that's something he'll take from his predecessor, Mark D'Antonio. Like, why ever get rid of the disrespect thing? I mean, why would you? I mean, it works so well. I'm sure there's been some reference to it. Let me say that, and why not? I mean, use what you can, right?
Absolutely. Hey, sidebar, just a quickie from me. I don't know if it's going to be quick, but I'll ask you. What happened with Max Christie? What's the true word there? Did he and Izzo not see eye to eye? Did Izzo promise him something and then go back on it? What's the scoop? Because this kid, he don't look like he's ready for the NBA.
Well, I don't think there's anyone agrees that he is. The whole thing of, I mean, there's certainly nothing he didn't get. I mean, the guy played more minutes on the team than anybody. You know, I'm not sure if I've seen a freshman in my time covering this team that got treated the way Max Christie did. I mean, I go back to maybe Gary Harris, a guy like that Tom didn't really get on that much. And I'm not saying Max Christie deserved to catch a bunch of grief from Tom Izzo. he played pretty well. He got tired down the stretch, and I think that's a big thing we all see. He needs to get stronger. Is he ready to do that at the NBA level? I don't think so. So why is he going? I don't know if anyone has a real answer right now. I don't know if he loved the abrasive style of Tom Izzo, but I don't think there was no animosity or any sort of like fighting or anything like that. To me, it's the point of this is a kid who wants to play in the NBA. If he gets drafted 20th or 40th, he's going to go take a shot at it, and that's what he's being told at this point. So, and I asked him the idea, what if you come back, you become an all Big Ten player, and now you're a lottery pick? He says, well, that's the path for some people, but I'm taking this one.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt, I agree with you on that, Matt. I think a lot of times people are just trying to, when things don't work out or you see something and you say, well, this guy's not ready. Why would he leave a situation like Tom Izzo at Michigan State? Sometimes guys don't like college. Sometimes guys get to college. Guys are tired of academics. Guys are tired. They went to 4 years of high school and in eighth grade and junior high, and they get to college. And you see what you're that close to the next step. You're like, I'm done with this.
I don't want to go to class anymore.
Exactly. I don't want to go to class anymore. I want to take the next step and figure it out. I want to be on my own. I want to start making some money. I think that's what it is. It's not necessarily the coaches or
I don't want to live in a dorm. I don't
things
want to
didn't go
borrow
awry. It's like,
$5.
look, I'm done. I don't want to deal with academia anymore. I just want to go to the league.
Yeah, that happens. That's happened plenty in just the last 10 years. There's numerous examples of that. Michigan State, same with everywhere, of guys that are just like, if I'm going to keep playing and developing, I'll do it here. If it's in the G League, that's fine. Because they're getting paid and they're being treated well. Some of these guys make good money overseas. It's not like they leave college and everything goes. I mean, there's certainly some examples of things went bad for guys.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys end up playing professional basketball a long time, whether they went 1 year or 4 years. So you're right. Some guys just it's not their thing to be in college. And who are we to judge them? A kid who doesn't go to college but decides to be an electrician and go to apprenticeship and stuff like that. Everyone doesn't do it the same way.
Shoot, I scored my first touchdown. I was asking my dad. I said, Dad, how do you get an agent? Like, what's the agent process? I'm 19 years old. I'm trying to get an agent.
Hey, Matt. Last thing for me, and we had Tom Izzo on couple of months ago, and I asked him this question, and I think he was fairly honest, and he just said he wasn't sure. He still has the fire in his belly. But at 67 years old, in this world of NIL, where you're begging high school kids to come to your program, they want to come, they want to get paid, they want to now transfer if they're unhappy. How long, in your gut, do you think a guy like Tom Izzo, who's accomplished everything you can accomplish in this game, wants to still do this? Because the game is different.
It is, and everything around it is different. And I think that's the hard thing for a lot of guys that have been in it a long time, to see how it's changing outside of it. And they're struggling with that. I would have said in the past, he's going to keep coaching until he wins another national championship, because that has pushed him more than anything. Because as you said before, tons of guys have won one. Not that many people have won more than one. And that has pushed him more than anything. But I don't know. I've seen it. I've seen it the last couple of years. This stuff really kind of bugged him. Not really being on the same page with a lot of the things that are happening. And I don't think he's against guys making money. He's not against that. He's not against a guy transferring in a bad situation. He just feels like there's no guideline to it. There's no one's really thinking about the betterment of some of these players, and that kind of bothers him. So I don't know if that's maybe going to cut down on him. I mean, he still has the desire to coach. There's no doubt about that. I just wonder if all the stuff around it catches up to him and he just says the heck with it. I mean, we've seen it plenty of times. I've referenced John Beilein before. I mean, he took a shot at the NBA because enough of this college business. The chasing the kids and constantly recruiting and making boosters happy and all that. That can get a little tiring. You wouldn't mind having an off season every once in a while. So that's my long way of saying I don't know.
No, I agree with you.
I feel like it could happen without a championship more than maybe I would have a few years ago.
It's interesting. We were talking yesterday too, and we'll leave you with this. Who's the wide receiver that just went from Louisville to
Jordan Addison?
Jordan Addison will make more playing football at USC than Jamison Williams will make more for the Detroit Lions this year. So much for amateurism.
Hey, which basically now means when you use what was that famous term? It was like, oh, he took a pay cut. Yeah. Well, now you're talking the real deal.
Go to the NFL, get a pay cut.
Yeah.
Matt, we certainly appreciate your time. Hey, spend $1. Subscribe to the Detroit News. You're reading Matt in the Detroit News, detnews.com. Matt Charboneau, Michigan State football, basketball. We certainly appreciate it, sir. Thanks so much.
See you, Matt.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thank you,
fellas.
Matt.
See ya.
You got it. Great stuff there from Matt Charboneau. I enjoyed talking to him. I think he's got a great perspective.
Easy to talk to, and he's very knowledgeable. It's quick and easy and concise.
Absolutely. I really much enjoyed that conversation. We're going to take a break and come right back. I want to stick with the college game just a little bit to show what universities are more equipped, better equipped in this world of NIL. Both of our local programs on that list as well. Where are they? We'll have it for you next. But first, a message from Gypsy Vodka.
Gypsy Vodka. Speaking of Michigan State, Adam and Mike, Michigan State alums, they came up with Gypsy Vodka, and Gypsy Vodka is amazing. But now, this summer, featuring the mulligan from Gypsy Vodka. That's right, in golf, we all want those mulligans so we can get our scorecards to look exactly like we want to. How about you get a mulligan and take a mulligan? 8% alcohol, very smooth, 3 different flavors. That's right, iced tea, lemonade, and vodka strawberry. These are amazing. Guess what? Go down to your liquor store, get one before you. Next time you tee off, why don't you grab yourself a 6-pack? The Mulligan by Gypsy Vodka. Gypsy Vodka is the stuff of legend. But remember, if you're going to drink responsibly, even on the golf course.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Aaron Donald absent from Rams OTAs. Oh, no. Just kidding.
Will earn a base salary of $9.25.
Just kidding.
You see Braylon last night? Braylon trying to get me going last night?
He did. He was texting me about
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. I'm taking Aaron Donald, man. I have
That's
to.
okay.
This generation's Lawrence Taylor.
No, it's not even about this generation's Lawrence Taylor. Like, Aaron Donald was able to work on the inside and the outside. Aaron Donald spent most of his career with double teams and still gets to the quarterback. He still gets sacked. It's much like you got to give a lot of credit to John Randall. John Randall was a guy that had 150 sacks career, played on the inside, and he plays on the outside. If you're looking at the first 5 years of their careers, Aaron Donald has more sacks than Lawrence Taylor. You're looking at 8-year span, they're exactly even. 8 All-Pros to 4 All-Pros or 5 All-Pros. So, I mean, you just look at the numbers. Aaron Donald, when it's all said and done, will have to be called the greatest of all time.
Ooh. Nope.
He will have to be called the greatest of all time.
Nope.
Subjective. Some people are going to think LeBron is the greatest. Some people are going to think Michael Jordan's the greatest.
Yeah, but it's not about that. Like, that conversation is for the young kids. And me and Maz are like, we're on the same level when it comes like the intelligence and the knowledge. It doesn't have to be an era for us because he loves Steph Curry, and that damn sure ain't his era. So with that point, Maz gets it. I just think part of the mystique with Lawrence Taylor, with the exception that he was the greatest and technically still is the greatest defensive player of all time, is he played for the Giants. They won 3 Super Bowls. But you can name a long list of players that were on that team as well that made that team great, whether it was Harry Carson, whether it was Carl Banks, whether it was Pepper Johnson, whether it was on the other side. See what I'm saying?
Keep them coming.
You see Rodney Hampton? You see what I'm saying?
Keep them
like
coming.
with Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, and Jay
Maz
Ramsey.
feels movement now.
Oh.
So I'm just saying,
off
what
his
is
guys.
all said and done?
What an era.
We'll get back into the NFL.
I got you excited, didn't I?
Coming up top of the hour. While we were talking about Charboneau and, of course, NIL and Michigan State and Michigan, I do want to put up this graphic for you. Top 25 schools with the most powerful boosters. This is a ranking right now. And obviously at the top.
Big Game Boomer, thank you.
Fake news.
Yes, this is from Big Game Boomer. And at the top of the list are 2 Texas schools, Texas A&M and Texas. Pretty unique to see Texas A&M atop any list as well, even above Texas, because I would think Texas is number 1. But Texas A&M 1, Texas 2. Then you've got Tennessee, Georgia, Notre Dame 5. Michigan comes in at 8. And Michigan State on the list at 21.
I think they got to be top 10.
I agree. I mean, I look at Michigan State, and I pretty much think they're almost, if not better equipped, at least equal to the University of Michigan when it comes to powerful donors who are not shy in spending money or doing whatever it takes to make sure that their athletic program is elite.
I don't want to start a thing with Michigan State, so I'll just say, okay, whatever. I get Texas A&M.
Oh, come on, start it.
And I get Texas. Oil money. So I understand those donors. I understand the oil money. I have no problem with them being ahead of us. Michigan has the second most alums that are billionaires out of any institution in the country, only second to Harvard. So you mean to tell me we got the most billionaires, but we fall to 8? I'm not accepting it.
Here's where I'll challenge
We're not allowed to use our boosters.
I'm not
That's the
accepting that.
problem.
Here's the problem with that. How many of those billionaires want to get involved?
Right.
The same arrogant mofos that like wearing that maize and blue, like wearing that Block M in the airport on their private jets in whatever
Fair
they do,
enough.
and throwing it out there that we are Michigan, we're the leaders and the best, we're this, we're great, we're blah, blah, blah. Those same individuals, like Stephen Ross, have no money, have no problem putting their money where their mouth is. I was there when Stephen Ross donated $178, and I was there when he donated $345, upwards of $1 billion already, and they got more of them. I'm telling you, I just can't accept it. But to your point, it may be something that I don't see because I am a novice at this.
I don't know it either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
What Ryan is saying is they're not allowed to use those boosters.
Right.
You can have all the millionaires and billionaires you want.
If you don't take
but they don't
advantage
use
of them, they're negated.
You got the Mets, you got Google, I mean, the list goes on in terms of the billionaires.
Yeah, but that's the point. How many times have you heard Steve Cohen donating to the University of Michigan athletic program?
The Wilpons before that.
That's because one thing about it, man, like donating, what I've learned, and I am a donor, by the way. I've donated to the athletic department. One thing about being a donor, I'm realizing the money isn't donating to the school, not necessarily donating to the football program in itself. It's better use when you donate to the school. So I can understand that, but this is different. You're talking about keeping your school. And now that you have the ability, you've had all this money forever and weren't able to use it necessarily in this particular way. Now that you can use it in the NIL and power boosters, now's the time to spend it.
I hope it doesn't just go down to the highest bidder. That's one of the great things about college, too, but it's hard not to,
Bama
right?
looks low on this list to me as well.
They don't have that many.
When was the last time Tennessee was relevant?
I think they're going to become relevant now.
Yeah, but they've had the biggest
I
stadium
really
for a long
liked
time,
Tennessee
too.
last year. They got that quarterback. He is one of the most exciting. His name escapes me right now, to be honest with you. But watch that guy last year. He's one of the most exciting players in the country.
I love it. Oregon's only on that list because of one person.
Phil Knight.
And you said it. That you're surprised that they're not more involved.
I am. Something had to happen with Phil Knight. Actually, give shout-outs to my dad. Dad said it. Something had to happen with Phil Knight and Oregon. Because you mean to tell me after Cristobal left, like now he gets quiet, they're not bringing players there, and they're not doing something with their NIL deal. All the money that they spend, they're the #1 institution in terms of generated revenue for the sports department per year, $425 million. It's got to be a reason why Phil Knight isn't doing some of these things when they're not bringing any deals, people in on the NIL deals, or why we haven't heard Oregon more. Because everybody wants to go to Oregon. Remember back in the day when they first started coming out with the uniforms? You would tune in at 8 at night, because you know they West Coast. You would tune in at 8 at night, or if it was 10 at night, just to see what uniforms they were coming out with. Where's that gone?
I mean, I remember, my guy Dior Mathis going out to Oregon to play college football out there, instead of playing locally here, and it was so cool to go to Oregon to play football.
It's an experience, man. I know I'm getting off subject. So I was working for the Pac-12 network, and I was doing some track meets. Track was one of my first loves, so I was doing some track meets. And one of the meets that we got to do, we got a chance to do an Oregon meet. So we flew out to Oregon and got a tour. That campus and that building, that football facility, and mixed in with the athletic facility, like the compound and the track, I ain't never seen nothing like it.
Wow.
Like I've seen, like when you walk in, like you're talking about a selling point for a recruit. When you walk in to the athletic department, when you walk into the football practice facility and things like that, which would be their Schembeckler Hall, when you walk in, instantly I'm like, so you said, where is this the dotted line? You would instantly sign. Like that's what you feel like when you walk in. You feel like you're walking in some type of special mausoleum or something. I don't know.
Boy, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that is cool.
How cool would it have been just to be Well, to be Braylon, I guess. That's my question.
Right.
I mean, I used to do shows with Mark Spindler. I love the spin dog. And Mark's son, Rocco, who dominated at Clarkston High, is at Notre Dame. Notre Dame right now.
Oh, nice.
And and Mark would tell me back in his day, when they were wooing him, trying to get him, and he wound up going to Pittsburgh, all the stuff that they would do and the cities. And he told me about Iowa one time, and he got off the plane in Iowa, and those Midwest farmers' daughters girls were waiting for him to walk him around and to take Rocco around all these teams. I thought eventually he was going to go to Michigan State, I thought. Then I said, maybe he's going to go to Pittsburgh. He winds up going to Notre Dame, and he's an offensive lineman, so you don't hear a ton about offensive linemen, but just to hear some of those great stories.
That's the one thing I didn't do is I didn't take advantage of the recruiting process in terms of going on trips. Like when I was a kid, I thought the recruiting process was going to look like the movie
Blue Chips.
No, not like that. Well, He Got Game, Blue Chips, pretty much Blue Chips, He Got Game. But there was a movie with Robert Downey Jr., where his best friend was a high school quarterback, and he was getting recruited. I can't think of the name of Johnny B. Good.
Okay.
So I thought it was going to be like Johnny B. Good, but I committed to Michigan, and Eric Campbell, my position coach, he was able to get me to not take any more trips. He said, well, you committed here, why go on other trips? I was like, well, that makes sense. Looking back, I got duped.
For the parties, man, yeah.
I got duped.
You got
Hour
duped.
number 2 of the program right around the corner. Stay right there. We're going to get into some NFL bold predictions from Jason Lockon for. And is it time for the Lions to get a new stadium?
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that legitimately because of what you see going up around the league. Another one potentially going up in the D.C. area. But first, a message from MyBookie.
All right, a couple of teams going for it tonight. The Warriors going for the kill at Dallas. They're up 3-0. Get on mybookie.ag right now and get involved. How many points will Steph Curry score? Before you do it, make sure you use the promo code Woodward because MyBookie will double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Couple of NHL games going on tonight as well. Who do we got tonight? We got the Canes up 2-1 at the Rangers, and the Flames down 2-1
under
at the Oilers. A couple of unders, maybe an under and an over. Maybe an under and an over on that Oilers game. Don't forget, use the promo code Woodward. MyBookie. Bet time, bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please use the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey gang, want to tell you about Wingsnob, fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. Wingsnob has the best traditional wings. Try out those signature sauces, Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. Wings toss to perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online, wingsnob.com, wingsnob.com. We just have
better wings. Yes, they
better
do.
wings.
Lemon pepper.
Being the number 2 overall draft pick in any of the major 4 professional sports in this country is going to bring a lot of pressure. It's especially a lot of pressure in the NFL. And it's even more pressure when you're the number 2 overall pick and the team that selected you is your hometown professional sports team. That is what Aiden Hutchinson is facing this season. But there is something where he doesn't have that much pressure to live up to, and that is the donning of the number 97. Let's take a look at some of the players who have worn that number in the past. Tracy Scroggins, Boss Bailey, Akeem Spence, Nick Williams, and Ricky Jean-Francois. What you guys think? You tell me. Do you think Aiden Hutchinson has the ability to be the best player to ever wear the number 97 for the Detroit Lions? Will he make that number iconic? In my opinion, I think he will. Just look at the guys that we've talked about and then go back and go look over the history of the other players who have worn that number. none of them have had the ceiling, the athleticism, and the talent that Hutchinson possesses. Talk to me. Hit me up on Twitter, Corey E. Woods, and hey, let's talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts. That's all for right now. Corey Woods checking in with the Woodward Sports Network.
Shout out to Corey Woods. He does an amazing job with his takes, his little inside takes, as well as doing work with the Detroit Lions. But if you draft the guy number 2 overall, then we got to get away from talking about just the Detroit Lions. It should be, can he be the best number 97 ever? Can he be the best number 97 in the NFL currently? Because he's drafted number 2 overall, and most people had him getting drafted number 1 overall for the majority of the draft process. So with that being said, love you, Corey, but we got to get that ceiling higher. I think 97 in terms of all the NFL teams, but there's some good ones out there. I mean, you got Bosa. It's tough out there.
That's tough right there.
Miles Garrett is 97 as well. No, he's 99.
I mean,
he's 99.
Dude, I'll tell you here, though, Tracy Scroggins was a really good player for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, we had, what, 70 career sacks?
10 seasons with the Detroit Lions, 60 and a half sacks.
I was close.
You know, he's 7.5, 8, 9.5, 7.5, 6.5, 8.5, 6.5.
Played some on good teams, too.
I mean, really solid player. I mean, you hope.
Damn solid player. Damn solid player.
You hope
but you draft the guy number 2 overall. Right. You're looking for him to have a career where he's upwards of 100 to 140.
Exactly. I mean, scored a couple of touchdowns in his career, Tracy Scroggins.
There you go.
Just looking it up. I mean, he was no slouch, let's put it like that.
No, Tracy was definitely a good player. You know, my dad used to take me all the Lions games, so I know that my dad played for the Lions, so I'm well versed in all. Jerry Ball was my guy. Jerry Ball was a big guy, but number 2 overall. You know, you start, and is it fair? Well, you know what? You went number 2 all that comes with the territory.
Right.
That's the pressure for him. The pressure isn't, comparing him to guys that were pretty good. You got to compare him to guys that were better. So you look at Aiden Hutchinson, number 2 overall. You saw the talent. You saw what he did his last year at Michigan. You're looking for him to have upwards of 100 to 140 in his career.
Guys, I want to get into some NFL bold predictions. This is from Jason Lacanfora of CBS.
Formerly of the Free Press back in the day.
Did he? I had no idea about that.
Started out here in Detroit.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Was he a Lions writer? Or
he was
just
a sports
writer?
Yeah, columnist, I think.
Okay, these are 10 bold predictions for the 2022 season, and I'll go through them as I see them. He says,
should we agree or disagree with
him? Yeah.
Let's
leave this up on the screen here, if
Let's
you
put
will.
it on
Here.
The back,
okay, so Russell Wilson will win the MVP award. Guys?
I think he has a shot, but I can't agree to that. It's too many other people have continuity and already have chemistry, so I can't put him as the odds-on favorite.
These are bold predictions.
It is bold predictions.
David Ojabo will have a monster season.
He's not playing.
Aaron Rodgers will retire.
No.
Packers will trade Jordan Love.
I like it.
Lamar Jackson will play on the franchise tag.
I like it.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson will play fewer than 8 games.
No.
Oh, I don't know, man.
No, he'll pay more.
I don't know. Have you heard what's going on?
The three day.
Yeah, we could talk about
They've
that
had a 3-day
momentarily.
summit with him.
The Browns will eat Baker Mayfield's contract.
I like it. I like it.
The Lions will not be in last place.
I agree.
Correct.
The Eagles will play in the NFC title game.
I like it.
Wow.
And the Patriots will be in trouble.
We know that.
I hope so.
I think the Patriots are in trouble. You know, the key thing you talk about is, players getting the teams and not necessarily it working right away. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt when people come to teams. But with that being said, look what the Miami Dolphins did. Like, every time you look up, they're adding another player. We talked about it the other day, whether it's Raheem Mostert, whether it's Sony Michel, whether it's guys that are spending that money. Here comes the Cheetah at $230 million. They're giving Tua weapons. They sort up the defense a little bit. So that's going to be a team that's much improved. You look at, obviously, the Buffalo Bills. They don't even count because they're going to win. But then look at a team like the New York Jets. We're sitting here talking about what we could do as the Detroit Lions. You're claiming 10 wins for the Detroit Lions in that schedule. Well, you look at what the Jets did so far in the offseason. You look what they did in the draft. They pretty much got 4 first-rounders because Breece Hall had a first-round grade.
Might start 1-9.
Could. They're 100% because the schedule was tough. But I'm just saying they're in that division, so they have a rivalry with the Patriots. And then the Patriots don't have an offensive coordinator. Who's calling plays for the Patriots right now?
Matt Patricia.
Because as I look up, Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick are calling plays. Now I understand Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time in the NFL. Maybe were you the Parcells guy? All right,
Vince Lombardi.
Maybe he has the most Super Bowls, so I think that accounts for something.
I get it.
So he's the best coach. I get all that, but that doesn't mean he can coach offense. I ain't never seen him pick up a clipboard.
Here's my bold prediction of the Jason Lock-On Forum bold predictions. Okay,
because we already know what your bold prediction is.
But again,
the Lions 10-7 and winning a playoff game.
If you look at this board, if you see all 10 of these bold predictions. Tell me one of them that you would pound the table and say, you know what? This one is more likely to be true than any of them. And if I ask you that question,
the Lions.
I would say that number 8 here,
8 and 5,
the Lions will not be in last place, is the most likely one out of all of them.
I think the 3 that I like would be the Lions. I give you that. I like the Eagles, and I like Lamar Jackson.
But that's a
winner.
Really difficult.
And the Browns dumping Baker Mayfield's contract would probably be number 2.
Give me the most likely one, not the 3 most likely.
I'm with you. Lions out of last place.
We agree with you already. Okay. I agree with you.
Say it one more time.
The Detroit Lions one is the most agreeable out of all of that. I didn't agree with you. You know what not in last place means? Do you know what not in last place means? That means Chicago gonna have 4 wins, you got 5. You're not in last place.
Yes. We ain't finishing in last this year.
But I don't have a problem with that.
We ain't scared.
That's not the same conversation as they're gonna win 10 games.
10-win football. This Aaron Rodgers will retire. I mean, that's an off the wall one. That's probably the most off-the-wall one.
But he's almost retired the last 3 years in a row.
I know, but what's he going to make the next 2 years?
$150 million.
I ain't retiring.
No, exactly. I don't understand that one.
I ain't retiring.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What? Yeah, you know what the hell with that other $100 million? I'm good.
Russell Wilson MVP might be.
That's a decent one.
That might be a decent one too. That was my number 2 pick. Guys, the Commanders are possibly on the move. Some of the renderings.
Again?
Some of the renderings of this stadium.
Their name?
Some of the renderings of this stadium is flat out sick. I'm going to show it to you next and ask you if you think it's time for the Detroit Lions to start considering or the process of a new home field aside from Ford Field. We'll do that next, but first a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health as well as abuse, substance abuse. Their podcast, This is the F Word, standing for fentanyl, takes place right here at Woodward Sports Network. Go to thesportsma.com and check that out, or also go to woodwardsportsnetwork.com to see that as well. Listen, everybody has somebody or knows somebody that isn't doing well. Them themselves may be the individual that isn't doing well. Go to thesportsma.com. Find out how you can get help. Find out how you can get better. Thesportsma.com. They're just here to let you know it is okay to not be okay.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports Network. Guys, NFL spring meetings taking place right now. Today is the first day of that. Ian Rappaport shared some renderings earlier today and spoke about the Washington Commanders and Dan Snyder purchasing land in Virginia that would they purchased for $100 million. And they say
that's cheap.
Yeah, well, that's just for the land.
Yeah, that's still cheap.
And they say the Washington Commanders have unveiled plans to build a $3 billion mini city surrounding a new stadium. The potential site is in Woodbridge, Virginia, about 45 minutes to an hour outside of D.C. Here are some of the renderings of that stadium. Kind of looks like
Little
Allegiant.
Caesars Arena.
Well, it kind of looks like Allegiant
a little bit, yeah.
Stadium
I see what you're saying.
in
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
With the lighting around it. Yeah.
FedEx Field was opened in 1997.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not old.
Right after
It's not old. When was Ford Field opened?
2000.
3 years later. Guys, I'm telling you, in today's NFL, and we've talked about this before, but I do think it's worth talking about again. In today's NFL, you cannot compete for a fan's dollar in what you're playing in right now. Among the other issues likely to be discussed is Commanders' purchase of the land in Woodbridge, Virginia for over $100 million for a possible stadium. That's according to Ian Rappaport. Allegiant Stadium, SoFi Stadium, the Dallas Stadium, the Jerry Dome,
right.
The Chicago Bears Stadium in Arlington
Yeah.
Heights, Washington's potential stadium here. This is where all of these football stadiums are going. And I just believe that in the next 3 years, you are going to have a similar project here in Detroit where you begin to see renderings of a new stadium, because 30 years is the max on a stadium, and in 10 years from now, this stadium will be completely out of touch.
Yeah, you know, what you want to do is, so when I was in New York, they had just opened MetLife Stadium 2 years before I got, or a year before I got there.
It stinks, by the way.
It does stink, but it was new. It was state of the art. You know, obviously the Washington Commanders are in the same division as Jerry's World. So you saw the city that they built trying to do the same thing. Anything that you can do, we can do better. That's what you're in terms of getting free agents. That's how you get free agents. You show them something new. You show them something sexy. That's how you continue to get the Detroit fan base to come to the games and get their kids to come to games for years and years to come. Is you give them something new. You don't give them the same old product, which is losers in a terrible stadium. You know, not to mention also, you talk about wanting to get events. You're talking about the Michigan Commission of a gaming commission to bring event commission,
the sports commission.
Thank you for helping me out on that, man. You talk about bringing in the Final Four. You bring in the Sweet 16. You're bringing in the Grammys, or you're bringing in the draft. In order to do those things, you have to have something sexy. You got to have something new. When people do something new, you get rewarded. I agree with you 100%, Ryan Ermanni, and now you're seeing more and more. And to see that design, that's the other thing that they're doing. I think it started with Jerry's World, but now you're seeing like cities being built around the stadium. So where you have the condos, you have lofts,
like
you have
the District
restaurants,
Detroit.
you have eating. Like this, shit, I love that joke. But
that's what it was supposed to be like,
I know
right?
that. I know that.
And they have absolutely, it's been an utter
Look,
failure.
You know,
it started slow and COVID killed it.
FLEECE.
Yeah.
Fleece.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like right now.
It's terrible. But think about this. All these teams are now moving to the suburbs of these. We already had that. We had the Palace in Auburn Hills. We had the Silverdome in Pontiac. We moved all our teams downtown, and I love that. I want my team to stay right where they are. I just want to.
How do you now, Matt? Let me ask you a question. Ryan wants to get a new stadium, new arena. I think we deserve a new stadium, arena. Well, I think the fans do, not necessarily the team. How do you do that? Like, what is your setup for getting a new stadium? Because right now, where would you put it? How would you set it up?
The only way I could think of it doing it is to play the Lions at Comerica Park while you knock down Ford Field and rebuild it. That's my take. Maybe there's some way you can knock part of it down and fix it.
No, knock it all down. We're starting over.
It's still a beautiful looking building.
You keep some of the integrity.
It just did nothing for me since day one. And I would not mind seeing the Lions play at Comerica Park for 3 seasons or 2 seasons while they build that thing.
How long does it take to build? A year?
3 to 5 years?
Yeah, 3 years at least.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years before it's done. I would say, though, too, you talk about free agents, Braylon. Remember the Remember the drone footage going through Dallas's practice facility?
Just the practice facility.
They had the four
Allen Park practice facility is a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, that was once a state-of-the-art facility, and how quickly it has turned into a piece of garbage.
But it's not garbage, right? It's just not convenient.
It's far.
You should have your own city.
It's a huge square.
But that's what these. That's my point.
Yes.
Every single one of this new NFL has become their own cities. In Dallas, in Vegas, in L.A., in Chicago. I mean, if you can take the Chicago Bears away from Soldier freaking Field, you can do just about anything you want. I mean, you're taking the Washington Commanders about an hour out of the city. Now, I hope that
40 minutes.
I do love the fact that the Lions play downtown.
Me too.
But I'm just not sure there's that space that
they have the space.
You need to have a stadium like that.
Take some of these
with all the amenities and with all the practice facilities and create
it's tight down
really
there.
your own city.
It's tight down there. There's no question about it. You got Greektown right there. The DAC is there. What are you going to do, knock down the DAC?
Right, the Gem Theater
right,
you're going to move?
Can't. That's a beautiful area.
You can move the 36th District Court, perhaps.
Yeah, the courthouse. I mean, the jail.
Right.
How about the jail that's down there that's been sitting empty?
Gilbert bought it. Now he's got to knock it down. He
I
just
know.
has it. But every team that you named, just look at what they had in common. They're playoff teams, or they have been playoff teams, or they've had success, or they have something to attract, something sexy. That's the one thing. You gotta win games. Like, I think if you're the Detroit Lions, the ownership, you gotta buy a new stadium. You gotta get it going. You gotta get it done in 3 years. But why are you buying a new arena when your team doesn't get to the playoffs and they don't win? So, that's one of the things I'm saying is this is a pivotal year. I think to have that conversation or to throw that out there, you go your 8 wins this year, I'll split the difference with you. You get 8 wins this year, and you followed up with a playoff appearance and a playoff win in 2 years. Now that conversation that you haven't, although it's already honest and true now that conversation is easy to have. 8 wins this year, playoff win in 2 years. Now you can get a new stadium.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few, Lambeau Fields that exist and that will continue to exist. Mile High, Arrowhead, these stadiums.
Mile High isn't even Mile High. What is it now?
It's in Vesco Field.
It's in Power Field at Mile High.
Yeah. There you go.
Used to be.
They're talking about Arrowhead. They're talking about doing something new with the Chiefs.
Yeah. The Chiefs were thinking of moving to actual Kansas.
Exactly.
If you thought, remember I brought that up a few months ago?
That's the point. Look at the Louisiana Superdome. You can't compete in these stadiums anymore for a huge, big events. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I just think when you see what's going up around you, when there's when there's a stadium that's going to be rebuilt that opened in 1997. And you opened up 3 years later, I do think you're well within that time frame of starting to get the wheels spinning a little bit on how you're going to move your franchise, your football organization.
Washington, RFK Stadium is still standing.
Yeah.
Did you know that? It's still standing, and it's been closed since 1997. It's still standing in Washington.
Here's an interesting thing. 2000 stadium was built. We're currently in 2022. So 22 years of Ford Field, or 23 calendar years, whatever. How many playoff games have they seen? That was 23 years of wasted money. Just think of that. Bought the stadium, built the stadium.
There's never been a playoff game played at Ford Field.
Never.
There's only been one played since 1991. No, a couple. 3.
How many playoffs have they played? 2?
But those all happened at the Silverdome.
And that's what I'm saying. So therein lies why I say the comment. You got to show them something before they build. I mean, obviously they had some wins in the 90s. They were a good football team in the 90s. They couldn't win in the playoffs, but they were a good team.
They were one of the better teams.
One of the best, exactly. And they had a lot of the better players. You look at the Herman Moores, Lomas Browns, Tracy Scroggins, as you brought up. You look at those players. But if I'm spending money, if I'm an investor, I'm doing this. Like, why am I investing in this $3 billion
because it's the NFL,
stadium?
bro.
Why am I investing in this $3 billion stadium when the last one that I helped you guys build, I never saw a playoff game? Hell, they weren't even in the playoffs but twice.
Curious to hear from the listeners out there. 313-552-6322. That number again, 313-552-6322. 6322. Do you think the Lions need a new stadium? And if so, where would you put it?
There you go.
Love to hear from you on that.
Clean up Belle Isle. Put on Belle Isle.
313. I don't know if they can handle the traffic. 552-6322. We'll be right back, but first a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
In Hamtramck, Michigan, and thanks to our hosts, Chris and Noni Huck, Chris, the inventor of the great football and bowling game called Foaling. Couple ways to play: $12 unlimited open play and a private lane reservation, $120 for 2 hours. Put about 10 or 12 people on a lane. Bring your own food in or even have it delivered. Get your drink on. They got plenty there. Over 100 beers are offered, $2 mystery beer machine, and multiple full bars. Where the bar is always, the bar is high.
Yes,
Get your
it is.
foal on. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. We brought back some of the classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hot cakes, and waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try our new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or strawberry salad. The perfect recipe for springtime. And don't forget to grab dessert, including our berry delicious strawberry pie for only $1.99 with the purchase of $7.99 or more at participating Big Boy locations.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Right now, this summer,
Essential.
I'm talking about
Essential.
kids that are 14 to age 19. I guess that would be early adult too. 14 and 19 from May 16th through August 31st. Guess what? You guys work out at free. That's right, free of charge at all 88 metropolitan Detroit locations. Got to get in shape. It's a fun time, fun new. Hey, Planet Fitness is revamped. Planet Fitness is new. They have new machines, new equipment, new gyms, new spas, new hydro massage chairs. Don't you want to get in on some of that? I know I do. So guess what? If you're 14 and 19, go down to a Planet Fitness. It is called the High School Summer Pass Initiative. Ask for it, get in shape, and then once you get in shape for free, why don't you bring your parents down, because they only have to pay $10 a month at Planet Fitness. Right now, the summertime initiative is here. Planet Fitness, your fitness is essential.
You know, it's interesting because just looking at the Washington Commanders spending $100 million to buy land in Virginia, about 45 minutes outside of D.C., hour away, if you consider that D.C. traffic. The Chicago Bears nearly doubled that total. They paid $197 million to purchase the land.
My track is
at
on
Arlington Park,
sons of bitches,
to move to the suburbs. And that's an interesting thing as well, because, you know, like you said, Maz, we did that already. We had our stadiums out in Pontiac, in Auburn Hills. We have seen teams come back to the city. I think we here in Detroit are proud that we have 4 major sports teams within a 2 or 3 block radius of each other.
It's awesome.
Meanwhile, most cities don't even have 4 teams.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's a unique experience. I do think, though, if you're going to put up a stadium like we see in Dallas, you know, in Vegas, in Washington, in Chicago, in Minnesota, even right now, I think you might have to consider spreading this thing out a little bit. I don't think you can just knock down Ford Field and go right back up in that footprint.
In hindsight, guys,
I don't think
this is what we should have done as a city. Where Little Caesars Arena is, that could have been your football stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Little Caesars Arena, put it where Ford Field was.
Yeah.
There's more room on that side of Woodward going that way.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Not wrong at all.
And the district Detroit that never happened, turn that into your football city. Turn that into your sports
Well, that's
city.
just a disaster.
I know, but it could be revived. It could be fixed. It could be.
It's tough. I mean, they're doing a lot of building right now. Dan Gilbert and Bedrock. They're also building the Hudsons. I can't wait till that Hudson condo and that Hudson eatery and the mall shops come up.
They should have left the damn Hudson's building up.
And no, you got to change in life. It was fun while it lasted, but that's amazing. It's not a lot of room though, like you're saying. Like you're starting to figure out, like, where do you put it? Where do you put a new stadium? Where do you put a new town? You can't just take things and move them, like you say. Where would be an alternative area if it wasn't downtown but was still in Detroit or still somewhere close? Where would that area be for you, Ryan?
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure because I see there's a lot of space in the city of Detroit where you could build an entire city if you were so inclined and willing to do that, like some of these owners that I mentioned are willing to do that. Michigan State Fairgrounds. I mean, you could do it along Gratiot. I mean, there's so many areas down there. Curious to hear what the people think. 313-552-6322. Let's get to Scott. Scott, you're first up here on Ermanni and Edwards. Good afternoon to you, Scott.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Ryan. Good morning, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not too much, guys. How you doing today?
Doing real fine, buddy. Doing real fine. What do you got?
All right. Well, just wanted to comment a little bit on the whole stadium aspect. When they had it out in Pontiac, it was great because I live all the way up near the top of the thumb, so it's harder for me to get to events that are all the way down in Detroit. Now, if they were able to move it back up just a little bit further than Detroit, I would be happy because then, I'd be able to attend more events at, like, say, a football arena or a basketball, I don't think that the Pistons and the Red Wings should be sharing the same stadium. I don't see that as a realistic possibility because it makes it easier when the basketball team doesn't have to remove their floor to put in ice, and then they don't have to drain that ice for that, synthetic ice.
It is what it is, though, in terms of that. Hey, Scott, thanks so much. We appreciate your call, bud.
All right.
That's good. There's several franchises in the NHL and NBA that share stadiums together. Most notably, the Rangers and the Knicks. Did the Islanders play?
No, they have their own.
They have their own.
They shared with the Nets for a little bit.
The Stars and the Mavs. The Stars and the Mavs. They play in the same arena.
Yeah, the American Airlines.
The Kings play at the Staples Center.
Yes,
I don't have a problem with that. I actually like it.
Clippers will leave.
Arizona.
And the great thing about it is I appreciate the call, Scott. Actually, I appreciate the fact that we got listeners up by the thumb at the top of the thumb. So that was
certainly
pretty cool
appreciate
to hear.
that.
And I've been in both.
Must be cold up there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's nice outside-ish, I guess. But I've been in both locker rooms over at LCA, and they're totally different experiences, Scott. Like in the Red Wings locker room, it's theirs. Like it is what they built. It's theirs. It's not the Pistons. The Pistons go in there. It's separate entrances. And then the Pistons have their own thing. It feels like two different arenas. And then when you go to a basketball game versus the Red Wings game for the Pistons, it's two different and total experiences. So I don't mind that part at all. But moving it back, downtown Detroit to Pontiac is what, 28 minutes? So if you can come to Pontiac, you can come 28 more minutes downtown Detroit.
Yeah, I forgot who wrote it on YouTube, but they said Amazon's already got their mitts on the fairgrounds.
Yes.
The state fairgrounds.
Right.
I mean, talk about a huge piece of land.
I grew up across the street.
No doubt.
Green Acres in Sherwood Forest, right there.
Isn't that where the old, what's that train called on Woodward? What's that bus called?
The Q line.
The Q line.
The Q line.
Q line didn't even go to freaking Q line. Didn't even go to 8 Mile.
Right.
Was that another disaster?
That's a disaster.
Wasn't the Q line supposed to come all the way to Birmingham?
The Q line. I called it from the minute they tried it.
It's Detroit.
What a disaster!
Then it was free. Then they started charging.
It's only in Detroit where you can actually double park on a freaking track to stop the Q line.
Here you go. My dad texted. Ready
Mr.
for this?
Ermanni.
Okay. Yeah, Big Bob.
What's up, Bob?
How about this? Anywhere from Connor to downtown along Jefferson on the river there.
Oh God!
I mean, you could build something massive down there.
You could take over Gratiot.
Yeah,
for crying out loud.
I know.
Gratiot is a wasteland.
It is. You could build an entire city.
I love that.
Along that.
Gratiot is an absolute wasteland. It's got so
like
much
that
room.
I like what you
and it's
said.
close.
It's got me thinking about it. Yeah.
Anywhere.
So
That whole area.
once you get past, Sinbad's.
Yeah.
And once you get past Sinbad's and the Rooster Tail, there we go. Sinbad's and the Rooster Tail. It's a lot of open land down
There's
there.
a lot of vacant property. Let's
like
get to
that
Lions
one.
Rumble.
Waterfront, too.
Yep. Lions Rumble, you're on Woodward Sports Network. How you doing, bud?
Good. Thanks for this topic here.
Thanks, Lions.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Man, I would consider keeping everything downtown, man. I was so happy when they finally got all our teams downtown. For some reason, the Detroit Pistons out in Auburn Hills just didn't have that same mystique because it's not Detroit. It's Auburn Hills. But, yeah man, I'd be all for them just tearing down some of those abandoned buildings and thumb sores that are, kind of depreciating the property around Detroit. So I agree. I believe they should get a new stadium. I know it was built in 2000, but we need some more newness to the city. So I agree with you guys. I believe they should keep it downtown.
Appreciate that, Lions Rumble. And it's one thing to talk about the Pistons and the Red Wings and the Tigers. This is an NFL-specific deal.
Yeah.
Right? Because go look at the Dallas City that essentially Jerry Jones built for the Cowboys organization. Go look at that thing. Look it up. There's a drone that'll take you a couple of minutes. And even at Allegiant Field, Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. Go look at that drone footage flying through these things, and then go look at Lions headquarters in Allen Park.
Listen to me. If at least they put a retractable dome on Ford Field, it would have been a lot nicer. It would have been more, because you could play outdoors here in Detroit into December, especially the way our seasons are month removed. They're going longer now. Summer goes till October now.
Yeah.
Fall doesn't start till November. It's over at the end of December, basically, and then winter kills us. At least if I had a retractable dome, it would have gave me a little bit more sunshine. It would have been nicer if they'd done that. They really cut back. They really screwed up from the get-go.
They definitely dropped the ball on that. I agree with you, because the stadium that got built before Ford Field, I want to say either a year before or 2 years before, was Reliance Stadium. And Reliance was the first one, and in Houston, and they came out with the retractable roof.
Yeah.
Lions, Ford Field opens up a year or two later, no retractable roof. You had the blueprint, messed it up.
Mentioned the NFL spring meetings happening right now. Among the topics they are talking about the Pro Bowl. What do you do with it?
Man.
Is the game on its way out? Braylon, you have thoughts on that.
I do.
But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac.
Let's get us in
Les Stanford.
Let's find some new roads,
right.
man.
Let's find new roads. It is
Find
no
new
secret
roads.
that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. You got to make a plan. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford also has over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some with less than 500 miles on them, so they're like new. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Hey guys, this is Adam from the Morning Woodward Show. Make sure you're checking out OddsTrader so you can make the smartest and best bet possible. They offer all the lines, whether it's from BetMGM, MyBookie, FanDuel, you name it. They have the lines there for you. They allow you to make the smartest decision. So again, make sure you're checking out OddsTrader before you make any betting decision. OddsTrader, your go-to place. Visit oddstrader.com. Again, that's oddstrader.com.
Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there is nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844 Go to Alta today. That is 844-GO to the number ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
Had a friend of mine reach out to me. Shout out to Christy.
Hey, Christy.
Christy Tess over there at Central Kitchen. She said,
I love Central Kitchen.
Yeah, she's a manager over there at Central Kitchen. Does an amazing job.
Gorgeous.
Shout out to Dennis Archer Jr. and the whole team. She said the Packer plant.
Look at that.
Right where the Packer plant was. And she said also, we need hotels first, which isn't the first time we heard that. Because when we were talking about Final Four and talking about events, said we need hotels. That was one of the big things they talked about. We got a lot of boutique hotels, not the big conventional style hotels. So you might be right about that. Got to build some hotels and maybe the Packer plant.
We got hotels. I don't get all of that.
Hotels, but I think
what happened to the Rensen, the Marriott there? Isn't that a nice hotel still?
There's only so many rooms. How many rooms?
I know, but
are there?
you got the 3 casinos. You have what's the other one called?
The Westin Book Cadillac.
What's the
They
watch
kept
one?
buying and selling.
The watch.
The Charboneau, that's less than 100 rooms.
That's less than 50 rooms.
Yeah.
It's like a boutique hotel, and that's more so what they're saying, like the Satire Hotel, another boutique hotel, a lot of these smaller hotels. You got some Days Inn, some Holiday Inns, things like that. But the big cities, like Indianapolis, when I was walking to Indianapolis,
oh, God, they're all over.
got 15 in the major hotels, big size hotel, and out of the 15, 6 of them have convention centers or have areas where you can do big events. So,
the Rensen has 1,298 guest rooms.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but I mean, when you
you
think about a big
it's going to
event,
hold 77,000.
Everyone just room up together, together,
bunk together,
whatever it takes.
Of the 5 people in this room, only one of us has played in an NFL Pro Bowl game before.
Big
Sam,
deal.
is it Fennel Sam?
Big deal.
And it wasn't me. But Braylon Edwards, guy to my right, has played in an NFL Pro Bowl. And we saw how bad this game was this year and in recent years.
The worst ever.
And how many athletes over the great history of the NFL were openly criticizing this game. Deion Sanders among them.
Yeah.
This isn't what we used to do. Take some pride in this game. Take some pride in yourself. But this game is broken, and there is talk, according to Ian Rappaport, that the NFL is discussing the Pro Bowl week and ways to improve it, including possibly eliminating the traditional game and using that Sunday to showcase the players in it. Essentially, what are the alternatives?
No.
The reality is the traditional Pro Bowl game is not what it should be. So what else can be done? Would a flag football game or something like that
I
be
don't want
better?
That. That's garbage.
Listen, get Ian Rappaport's his what do you call it? His suggestion.
Yeah.
Go ahead and file that in the never heard of you category.
Thank you.
Let me tell you like this. This is what they need to do. I played in it, but that doesn't mean that I'm, overly qualified to speak on it. I just pay attention to what it is. It's the only one of the 4 sports that is played when? After the season.
After.
All the other 3 in the middle of the season.
Yep.
And what's the other part of the Pro Bowl? There's no weekend. There's the Pro Bowl and there's that. And they do some the wide receiver challenges, some skills and things like that.
They did that
You
this
don't
year.
even know when the hell that stuff is coming on. It may be Thursday and the game's on Saturday, or it may be Thursday and the game's on Sunday. So what you got to do is you got to have the Pro Bowl during the season. It just is what it is. And I know football is a tough one, and it's more physical than the other ones, and you don't want players to get injured. Well, players don't want to get injured, but they're still playing the All-Star games. In watching NBA All-Star Weekend, we complain about not seeing the best players in the dunk contest. In the NFL, you're complaining that you don't see the best players in the All-Star game. Like, how many times has Tom Brady played in the Pro Bowl?
He's in the Super Bowl every year. That's why.
When Peyton was playing, Peyton was always in the Super Bowl. These guys are playing in the Super Bowl because it's literally the week before the Super Bowl, so all these guys are in the big game. They're negating. Like, who's the best defensive player in the best defensive player in the NFL? Guess what? Didn't play last year because he was going to the Super Bowl. Who's the best DB? Jalen Ramsey. Didn't play because he was going to the Super Bowl. How many times has Cheatham missed the Pro Bowl? Because he was going to the Super Bowl. He was in the AFC Championship. You got to play it during the season. And you got to make it a 2-night event. It's got to be a Friday, Saturday. That way you let them get back home on Sunday. You let them travel and then get back to the season. Nobody's going to play. And then maybe you just make it where there's a pitch count. Like, you have the players that you bring in, they're allotted to play this many plays. Like, you got your wide receiver. Hey, you know what? I don't want my $100 or $200 million wide receiver and Devontae Adams to get hurt. So if I'm the Raiders, hey, look, he can play. He's got 10 plays. He's got 10 plays. You got to play it during the season. You got to make it a 2-night event. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday you allow people to travel back. You got to put it during the season or else it's going to do that. Even when I played, when it was in Hawaii and I went out there and all that fun stuff, nobody was watching the Pro Bowl.
I was.
Like nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
I
Shoot,
did.
I have not watched the Pro Bowl back since I've been in it. Nobody's watching it. That's because it's after the season. That's because the jubilation is gone.
It won its time slot this year.
Listen, Bray, they're not going to do that. They're not going to stop the season.
You
know how much money they make? They're not going to stop the season to play an all-star game.
But they own that event too. They can turn around and make that. They can turn it around and use that weekend and make money too.
But it's not like a Super Bowl.
What do you mean? What do you mean the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl is their one big event.
But that's why it needs to be last. Like all the other games, NBA Finals is the last. It's the last thing, and the season is over. This World Series, the October event, it's over. Like it's the Fall Classic. Excuse me, I was struggling for a second. The Fall Classic. As soon as the Fall Classic is over, baseball season is over. And the same thing with hockey. As soon as the Stanley Cup, it's over. With football, Super Bowl is the event. Super Bowl is the event in North American sports.
Those other sports are playing 80 and 162 games. So they need a break in the middle of the
Here's the problem, guys. Let me jump in here. Here's the problem. There's no good time for these players to play a meaningless game. There's just not. You've just got to cancel the game. We all hate it. No. We would love to see the best players.
It used to be great, Ryan.
We would love to see the best players play, but the problem between then and now is there's just too much money at stake. There is. And I would not want Jared Goff playing in some all-star game, middle of the year.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, I'm just
you don't have to worry about that.
I don't want my quarterback, whoever it is, playing in some all-star game getting hurt. In these other leagues, it takes a freak accident to get hurt seriously.
Not in hockey.
It takes a freak accident to get really hurt, I think. The way you fall into the boards, or if somebody...
Remember they tried beach football? That blew up.
Can't do that either.
And then the running back,
Robert Edwards
tore his ACL, never played football
And you can't do a skills competition either, because look at what happened with Ojabo at Michigan's. Look what happened to Tariq Cohen.
Yes.
You can't do anything like that. I don't know what you do, but the reality is nobody wants to play in the game. If I'm an owner of a football team, if I'm a head coach, I don't want my guys playing in the game.
I got it. It just hit me.
It better not be flag football.
This is going to take you back to the 70s. Do you remember the show Superstars?
I love that.
I love Superstars.
Remember the arm wrestling?
Yeah.
Tug of war was the last thing.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I want you guys on YouTube. I know I'm older than you guys, most of you.
But
go on YouTube and search ABC's Superstars competition. Bruce Jenner, he won it a bunch of times. Kyle Rote Jr. won it a bunch of times. It was the most. It was awesome.
Exactly.
It was awesome to watch.
He was always Caitlin, according to him. I get that, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to take the NFL's version of an all-star event, and we're trying to make it like NHL. We talk about NHL being the best. I believe NHL is the best. I think you can. Like, football players play football. They know how to play football. They're not going to get hurt. Guys aren't going to get hurt. I just think you got to stop looking at it that way and put it in the middle of the season.
More pro to get hurt when you're not trying to get hurt.
Yeah, but you're not going to not try to get hurt. You're just going to go play football.
That's what I mean.
You're just going to go play football like you always have.
It's become like thud. The
two-hand touch.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys. Coming up on Maz's videos of the day here, something happened in New York City yesterday that is the end of an era, and I'm actually pretty sad
There are
about
no rats.
it. We'll have that for you next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men.
I love when you do that. You have to reach down to get your stuff.
Yeah, I tell you, guys, by the way, don't I look handsome and clean today?
I watched you get that haircut.
Ooh-wee. Cassie hooked me up the right way today, ladies and gentlemen.
I watched the whole
here
process.
At Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, they'll hook you up. Precision haircuts, a king's treatment. Open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. All you got to do, walk in that door, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee. Over 100 locations nationwide, many of them locally here in the Metro Detroit area. Lady Jane's, get here. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked up.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
OddsTrader.com, the #1 site for all your game day bets. Begin your handicapping journey at OddsTrader.com. For play-by-play updates, live scores, and bet tracking, download OddsTrader from the App Store today. For the best price on every game and sign-up offers from multiple sportsbooks, visit OddsTrader.com. Player statistics and key game stats are all available at OddsTrader.com. Use BetTracker to keep records of all your games and betting activity at OddsTrader.com.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Sam. I apologize to disturb your read.
Oh, it's all good. I forgot what I was going to say.
By the way,
I know what I want to say quickly. If you have not yet, go ahead and hit that like button for us. Let's get to over 100 likes before the top of the hour. Thanks so much.
Hey, I got a quickie for you from the spring meetings, the NFL spring meetings. Rap Sheet is reporting there has been a change in the Rooney Rule. The QB coach job is now subject to the Rooney Rule. That means it requires an outside interview with a diverse candidate. So the Rooney Rule continues to be tweaked.
Well,
now it's up to the quarterback coach.
That's seemingly where all the candidates are coming from, right? The offensive side of the ball. Yeah. And for all the talk about head coaches in the NFL, only one black head coach right now in the NFL?
Two.
Or two?
Two.
That's right,
Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith.
There's only two offensive coordinators who are African American.
Kwesi Adolfo?
No, offensive coordinators. Byron Leftwich
you're right. It's GM.
and Eric Bieniemy. There's several more African American general managers, but nonetheless, two offensive coordinators are black in the NFL. Yeah. I think that's almost as big, if not more, of a problem than the head coaches because of how many head coaches are coming from that offensive side of the ball.
100% offensive coordinators are becoming the head coach on most teams, so that would be a good move. Side note, on something funny, what did you say, Maz? You said, let me give you a quickie right now.
Yeah, that's
I was like,
sorry.
I can't imagine there's been anything more than that. So.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But up.
All right, Maz,
here
we go.
All week, try the veal.
Time of the day, we like to play Maz's videos
of the day.
I used to last.
Of the day.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
And live.
You heard Ryan tease it earlier today. Yesterday in New York City, the removal of the last telephone booth, public telephone booth, took place in Times Square.
Where's Superman going to change?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Now, I'm not calling that a real telephone booth because the old telephone booths were like the ones that you would close the door and have your own privacy.
I know where one of those is. Last one I had, I went and had a meal in Ypsilanti at one of these new restaurants. Maybe last year, sometimes they had an old school telephone booth that you open up the door like Superman, like Ryan alluded to. I put a quarter in to see it work. Now, of course, it didn't work. But they have in downtown Ypsilanti. You can go fake make a phone call.
There's one in what's one of the steakhouses down in Detroit? Those two famous
Prime and Proper?
Oh, Prime and Proper.
No, the old ones.
Joe Muir's?
Not Joe's.
I know what you're talking about. London Chop House?
London Chop House. London Chop House has a phone booth in it as well.
That's awesome.
It's so What a great time of what it was. You threw a dime. You threw a dime in there and you made a phone call.
And then AT&T made it better. You no longer need a dime. You just do the 1-800-COLLECT. And then in that
call collect.
You get the message.
Yeah.
In that 5-second message, you can just say what it was.
Exactly.
I called when I was done hooping at the Y. I called 1-800-COLLECT. And it was like 5 seconds. Like, say your name. Yo, Dad, I'm finished hooping. Come pick me up.
Yeah, it was great. There was a commercial a few years ago that made fun of that.
That was so great.
That was
Decline.
The good old days.
Now
Decline. Hey guys,
Seen that a lot.
On a side note here, I'm going to take you out to Morton, Texas. I don't know how many people have actually chased a tornado before, but this is what it looks like when you do.
Get closer. Closer, he says.
A little bit closer.
Jesus Christ. That looks like the Superdome.
You're not going to be able to say that pretty soon.
Oh, no, it's Mercedes.
No, JC.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
What?
Cancel
You
culture?
can say that on the air?
Wow, I can't say that on air no more?
No.
Wow.
Oh, that's it.
I'm religious though.
Yeah, I'm religious too. Sorry, go ahead. We're
That's
just having
all
a
right.
side conversation.
That was a hell of a that thing is scary.
That
man.
thing's huge.
That is.
That thing made me think about Bill Paxton. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that was a
Twister
pretty decent movie.
It was.
Helen Hunt, right?
Yeah, Helen Hunt and Bill
Helen
Paxton.
Hunt. All right, let's take you to a new sport I found yesterday online. It's hockey and it's boxing. It's hockey boxing.
Look at that.
Let's talk over it.
Is this Jackie Callum's?
Yeah, check it out. Look at this.
Look at this.
Oh.
This is hockey boxing.
I'm down for this.
Where's D-Mac?
I'm down for this.
D-Mac would dominate this.
Yo, I am down
Look,
for this.
these guys are on ice, and it's literally a boxing match.
I was like,
Watch this right there. Right there.
with the
Cut
MMA
back.
gloves.
Boom.
Oh, this is great.
Look, you see those gloves?
This is great. The MMA
I
gloves.
can get
they got the
somebody on
MMA
if you want
gloves.
to talk about it.
I don't know. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll find them.
Let's check it out.
I will find them.
Hey, I will watch that. You call me crazy. I will watch that. Especially if they put celebrities in there. I'm down.
There you go. Danny Bonaducci against Greg Brady.
Rest in peace. I'll watch that one.
Screech, come on.
Lorena Bobbitt's husband. Then he fought.
Oh, yeah.
Then they had Refrigerator Perry and Manute Bol fought one
man.
time. That stuff was terrible, but it was like guilty conscience.
Right.
I mean,
One
it was
more
a guilty
for you.
pleasure.
One more for you. How about Tom Brady and Gronk taking batting practice? What the hell?
In Tampa?
The last time you saw
Okay, where are they doing this at? We have to talk out
gotta be
over it
Tampa
for the
somewhere.
It's
YouTube
got music.
regulations.
It's got music.
It's got music.
Tom
We don't want to
Brady,
get
that
taken
wasn't
off.
a great swing,
Why
by
is
the
he
way.
batting left-handed?
I don't know.
Why is he?
Watch Gronk in
Because
the
he
outfield
can.
here. That's not a
There
bad
you go.
swing. There's Gronk.
He's ambidextrous.
Now I want to see the rest of this video. Hopefully they'll put the rest of it. I want to see
Gronk
when
in
Gronk
outfield?
gets up. I want to see when Gronk gets up. That's Brady hitting out to Gronk.
Yeah, very good. I didn't. How's he left-handed?
And to be honest, now I don't want to diss Tom. It's all right. That swing wasn't necessary like that. That wasn't you're typically a quarterback. You see the quarterback position as the guys that play baseball. They play point guard. Usually your quarterbacks are the best golfers. Quarterbacks are the guys that play baseball. They're probably the best shooters on the team as well. That didn't necessarily look like a good baseball swing to me.
I didn't think so either.
Nah.
I didn't think so either.
I'm not being overly critical of Tom Brady. I'm just being overly critical of what I saw.
That's right. Hey, Maz, happy anniversary to you and Kathy.
Thank you,
24
man.
beautiful years.
Enjoy it,
Well,
buddy.
24 years for sure.
We hope that you enjoy your tableside Caesar.
Thank you. I can't
and your
wait.
prime rib. Tomorrow we're out at Big Boy in Brighton.
In Brighton.
Yes, I
We
can't
invite
wait.
everybody to come out. If
We're
you're
out
listening.
Have
on
a meal, man.
West
Strawberries.
Grand River Road.
Strawberry Fest is there, so man, come on down, man. Eat with us,
Bring
talk
your
with us,
appetite.
chill with us.
Yeah.
I'm definitely bringing mine.
I'll see you around 1, actually.
All right,
One?
we'll be through a couple of courses by then.
Yeah, I'll probably get there. I'll probably get there at noon.
Call us when you're on your way so we can get you something all set up for you.
That's what we need.
All right.
Love you guys. Braylon?
Great show out of you guys today. Like we said, tomorrow we are on location at Big Boy in Brighton, so it's going to be a fun time, going to be a good time. Going to check out the game today. Watch the game today. Let's see what Golden State does. Does Golden State close out? Does Steph Curry ball
It's
out again?
over.
Or is Luka Doncic going to give one last-ditch effort? Also, the NHL playoffs are still on, and the Detroit Tigers are playing as well. From Fletch, Phantom Sam, Maz on the couch, Ryan Ermanni, I am Braylon Edwards, and this is The best network doing it, Woodward Sports Network, and this is the Bottom Line.
Getting a little light up here, it looks like.
Uh-oh.
Oof.
You about to have a George Jefferson.